Zara, to walk up to the Kaisel, you need preparations with a great digduk, with great digdukim. And when he came to Eretz Yisroel, he was hesitant to go to the Kaisel. And he writes in the Beis Midvaz, Simin Lamed Ches, that he realized there's a heter, even according to his shita. Because we know that the Kaisel plaza that we stand on today is not the base of the Kaisel. The Goyim had buried the Kaisel. The Kaisel was buried all the way up by Goyim through Afar, and they made an ashpa there. And even when we stand today, there are many feet down of Afar, of earth and sand, which was thrown there. Says the Ridvaz, the Futzker Rav, that sand that's blocking from the floor of the Makayim, of the actual floor of the ha-bayis, which according to him, that's the ha-bayis. That is chaytzei. It's like you're standing on the roof of a building of the Azara. Roofs of buildings were not given kedusha. So therefore, he said that even according to his shita, you could walk up to the kaisel. It's like you're walking on the roof of a building, being that there's so much earth piled up under you. And that earth is afar v'asid lefanaisai, Mashiach will come, will clean that out and have the full kaisel. But this heter is a shvacha heter, and Tzvi Pesach Frank has a sefer Migdash Melech, in which he disagrees with this heter. The Ridvaz tried to answer why people walk up to the kaisel, because he held it the Azara, so we had to come on to such a heter. Such a Tzvi Pesach Frank, no. You know why it's mutter? Because this kaisel that we see is the kaisel ha-bayis. And being that it's the kaisel ha-bayis, there are no restrictions on walking right outside the kaisel. And this is the psak accepted by all or virtually all poskim today. So what comes out? Which kaisel are we looking at? Kaisel ha-bayis. So to walk on the other side of the kaisel, so as long as we're careful not to step into the place that's the Azara, it should be mutter to walk on the other side of the kaisel. So how come there's a sign by the entranceway to the ha-bayis that the rabbinate prohibits Jews from walking on the other side? Why can't we go on the ha-bayis? We'll go to the mikveh, kedasu kedin, like a tefillah d'oraisa with the proper preparations, and we'll go. Why not? So the truth is that in theory, we could argue it should be mutter. However, if you do want to go, we were going to allow Jews to go on the ha-bayis, so let's think. First of all, to go on the ha-bayis, every person who goes would have to go to the mikveh properly. Second of all, the Mishnah tells us at the end of brachas that it's also to go onto the ha-bayis with your shoes, the sandal or the minol. It's also to go with shoes. So everyone have to take off their shoes. So what are you going to do? You'll go with sneakers, like in Kippur. So the Michas Chinuch, no. Why don't we go with shoes in the ha-bayis? It's an aspect of covered ha-bayis. To go barefoot there is an aspect of covered ha-bayis. So you're going to wear sneakers? That's a bigger covered ha-bayis. But the Michas Chinuch, he highly doubts whether you can wear sneakers. No, you have to go there without shoes, without the sneakers. All right, so we'll set up a booth, and we'll make everyone first, you know, that the excavations at the foot of the kaisel, there are mikvahs there, ancient mikvahs, where Jews travel to go to the ha-bayis. So we'll put up a building on one of those mikvahs, we'll fill it up with water, we'll get some dedications, we'll make some money on the side, and everyone will travel, and then we'll have a big box where you put in your shoes, and everyone will go. Oh, but 1 second. You're not allowed to go b'minalai, b'sandalai, also b'pandasa. You'll have to deposit your wallets before you go in. No money in the ha-bayis. According to some poskim, it needs even hidden money. Now, to give away their shoes, maybe we'll get, you know, the Yidnu Kav that don't know what's going on. So actually we'll get them to leave their shoes behind. But the wallets, mainly American tourists, that's highly doubtful. And an additional factor is that even to go there without your wallet and without your shoes, it's only mutter l'tzairach. To go for a walk in the ha-bayis, that's chsaron and covered ha-bayis. So if you're going l'tzairach, you want to be mispalo, that's mutter. So we're going to set up a guard, and we'll question everyone who's coming in. Why are you coming in? So most people, Americans that come that aren't from, why are they going in? You know, someone wrote an article entitled, "Shoot Me at the Wall." They're going for the photo op. A photo op is not a heter. So for these reasons, we're not allowed to, we refrain totally from going on the other side of the ha-bayis. The Minchas Yitzchak Chelik Hey, Siman Aleph, adds one additional reason why we should not go on the other side of the ha-bayis. He does point out that there's no mark where the Azara starts. So even if you go on the other side, you would have to hug the kaisel, stay very close to the kaisel. You never know when you're stepping into the Makim HaAzara. But besides that, he says that it says, Taisus brings down in Yavamis, Dav Vav or Dav Zayin, that Gazru al Amei Haaretz sheyu Tameim Kizav. Chazal were geyser on Amei Haaretz that were Tamei like a Zav. Like a Zav, a Tumah Zav. What is a Zav? A Zav is the only Tumah in the Torah. The Zav is a man, is only a Tumah that applies to male. Generally, it's translated as gonorrhea, someone who suffers from a disease which causes certain excretions, makes him Tamei Zav. A Zav can only have Taira b'mayim chayim. You have to go into running water. The running water today, there's no running water near the Beis Hamikdash. How are you going to enforce that everyone should go with Tzivas Mayim Chayim? So to Minchas Yitzchak, you should be Meichel me. But he says we're all Amaratzim today. L'gabi Hilchas Tumah Ta'ira, we have no Bikiyas. We're all Amaratzim. We can only go with Tzivas Mayim Chayim. I'll add my own Ha'ara. He's right. We're all Amaratzim. We can't go because there were guys on Amaratzim that the Tamei Kizav. My hurry is, he says, you can only go to your table in Mayim Chayim. So we'll all go, table in Mayim Chayim. So we table in running water, we come out. A Zav we're not. But Amoretz, Bleitzendoch. You know, your table, you don't become Eis Amoretz. So I don't understand what he's saying. If there were guys that Amaratzim have a Tumah Kizav, so what does it mean? We'll go table in Mayim Chayim, we'll come out, we'll be allowed to go. The Doch Nidra an Amoretz. What's it going to help to be able to go? Elamai. What does it mean there were guys at Tumah Kamaretz? That a chaver, someone who is Zohir, treats an Amaretz like he's a Zav. That somebody else, someone who's a chaver, who is an expert, who's careful in Tumah and Taira, when he comes into contact with an Amaretz, he treats him like a Zav. But does that mean that the Zav himself, the Amaretz himself rather, if somebody himself, he's an Amaretz, but he knows that he's not a Zav, so it means that he himself has to treat his own self like a Zav. If that's so, then tabling won't help. And if for a person himself he's Naaman, so then tabling wouldn't be necessary. So this is my horror. But be that as it may, I don't recommend for anybody to walk on the other side of the kaisel. Besides that, they say no a rabbin, it's not a safe place to go. But besides that, al halacha, not a place that we should really walk. So shaila number one, the shaila about stepping beyond the kaisel. So the answer is that we don't go. But what most people do not know is that really we're allowed to go. You ask 100 people, why don't we go on the other side of the kaisel? So 99 out of 100 will tell you with Tamei Mason. A Tamei Mason can go on the other side of the kaisel. But that's not the reason. Because really a Tamei Mace could go on the other side of the kaisel up until the Azarai. The reason we don't go is because of the other tumas and because it's hard to be careful in all the dikdukim that are required. Shaila number two also has to do with Hilchas Tumah. Again, a question which is discussed by Paiskim, is one permitted to stick his fingers into the cracks of the Kaisel HaMa'aravi? Are you allowed to put your fingers into the cracks of the Kaisel? You say, what do you mean you're allowed to stick your fingers in? How else do you get the papers to stay in? So there's all